So welcome to part 2 of the Integrated Care Project training. I'm John again, and we've got Pauline with us. So I thought we would start today with just a quick recap of what we hope to accomplish. First of all, I just wanted to know if there are any updates about any recordings and uploadings that you've tried. Any questions about that?
No. Sorry.
Catherine, did you want to add something?
Sorry, I got disconnected there for a moment.
Okay.
I didn't hear what the question was.
Yeah, we're just trying to see if folks had tried recording and uploading, and if so, what was their experience?
I have not yet. I'm meeting with a client this afternoon at 1 who I'm going to ask if she would be okay for me to record for our next session next week. So I'm planning on having that discussion today and attempting to record soon. So.
Great. Okay. Well, if anything does come up, especially with the consent forms or et cetera, please let me know. And of course, any technical difficulties.
Okay, will do.
Okay. So the next point is basically we're going to go over a demonstration of once you have uploaded video, what do we do with it? And that's the process of preparing the video for scoring and then actually scoring it and then comparing your scores with your supervisor's scores through VCP. And then, of course, there'll be questions and answers. And I want to kind of do this as a live demonstration of the how-to sheet that I sent you. And again, I do apologize. I sent out the first one, not remembering correctly one step that would have kind of tripped you up. So I corrected that and sent out a revised version after. I apologize for the second email. So if that's okay with everyone, if there's no other questions, we'll just move on from that. Okay. So basically going to go through the tip sheet. I'm going to do it through VCP. And basically the first step starts with your uploading a file. And what I'm going to show you in this video is what things look like from different perspectives. I have this ability that you don't that allows me to what's called masquerade as a certain person, so you can sort of see what VCP would look like from that point of view. So I'm going to be switching back and forth. I don't want anyone to get confused by that. But we're going to start with my student demo. Okay, so now I'm pretending that I am a student in the Integrated Care Project, and I've come to my home page. Just a little disclaimer, your home page at first will not look like this. In fact, it will be completely blank. This is your workflow screen because you haven't scored anything, you haven't completed anything. I've kind of prepared things for this demonstration just to save time so you can kind of see what things look like. But really, our story is going to start with the files queue. Remember, this is where you went to upload a file. And here are some files that I have uploaded. So we're going to pretend that the videos I have in here are videos of a meeting. So the first step that we're going to have to go through, if you want to review the video and go over it with your supervisor, we're going to have to do what's called preparing or making a preparation out of the video. So basically, that's just fancy terminology. A preparation is a video matched with questions. That's all that is. And we're going to go through that process of matching your video to the preset questions that we have in VCP. So I'm going to go ahead and use this file to make a preparation. So basically what I did, I'll show you that one more time, I just click on the name of the file, and that takes me to this screen where I can choose to create a preparation. So you're going to click on that button. And then from here, it's a step-by-step process down to the bottom of the page. and I'm going to go through each field with you right now. So the first field up here is you can give your preparation a name. I would just suggest picking your last name and then the date. So you can write the date any way you want to. Remember, every space you put is another word as far as the system goes. So if you ever need to find it later, although I'm not anticipating you'll have tons of videos, but it makes it a little easier to search if you just have discrete words. So you could put the year in, you could put the month in, whoops, and then you can put the day. The next thing that you have to do is it is required to put a description in. This doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It can just a couple of sentences, or this is a meeting, or you might want to put something in there to help remind you of why you uploaded this or what you were looking for. Going down to the next field, this is a sort of a scary term, master scorer, but it's just how it was programmed in the system. All this is basically is the person that you're going to compare against. So I'm going to pick my supervisor. And when you click on this field, the system is set up so that you will see your supervisor's name in here. Okay. The next thing we're just going to ignore. And then we get down to tags. Before I go any further, because I feel like I'm going kind of fast, are there any questions at this point, or is this pretty good?
Seems fine.
I don't have any questions. No.
All right. Well, I just want to invite you to jump in anytime if you do. Tags, basically what a tag is it's sort of like, think of it like a label in Gmail. All right. So if I label an email with a certain tag, I'm going to be able to search on that tag and find it. Again, I'm not imagining that you guys are going to have a ton of videos in here, but let's just use this in case you need to find your videos a little more easily. So for tags, I just gave you the names of the different organizations that you belong to. So just pick the organization that you belong to, and you can use that. Parameters is the next section, and that's basically the set of questions. We kind of went over these last time, and Pauline, maybe when we go through the scoring demonstration, you can kind of talk a little bit more about the parameters. Along with the how-to sheet, I did send a description sheet so that you can kind of look at what the parameters are supposed to be meaning. To make things really easy for you, I've gone ahead and created a parameter template. It's called Integrated Care Project. So if you choose this, all of your questions will automatically be associated with your video. So you don't have to do anything more. We scroll down to the next section. Now in here, you'll notice these little slider things. If there is something, sometimes at the beginning or at the end of a video, there's what I call junk. I mean, you just turned the camera on and people are getting situated. There's nothing really happening for about a minute or two. So rather than include that minute or two in your review, you can just move the slider to where you think the action really starts. I'm just going to leave it there for demonstration purposes. So this gives you a little bit of control to cut out things at the beginning and the end if you need to. Down here in this box here called segment length, you're going to be reviewing these videos in 1-minute segments. And what that means is that the video will start and stop every minute, and you'll be able to give a score for each one of the questions for every minute. This kind of helps you pinpoint different places in the video where things may have been going well or maybe not so well. And you can go back to them a little more quickly. So in this area, we're just going to type 1:00, and that lets the system know that you want 1-minute segments. You can ignore this assignment privileges box and just hit the submit button at the bottom of this page. Now you come to the assignment page, and this is very important, maybe a little counterintuitive. You can see up here that your supervisor is assigned to score it, but you also need to assign yourself as a student. So here's where you pick yourself from the box. It's just a little extra step, I know, but needs to be done. And I'm going to click submit. And at this point, when you see this green bar that says updated, you're basically done with that preparation process. And all of this is laid out in the how-to sheet. So I'm ready to move on to the scoring part if there are no more questions on that.
No question.
So I just clicked back on my workflow queue, and you can see now that underneath the needs to be scored is the video that I just prepared. And your supervisor will also have this video in their workflow page under a column that says needs to be scored. A couple of features here. This little percentage here shows you how much is done. So this is 0% completed, means it's not been looked at yet. So now I'm going to show you what the scoring page looks like. I'm going to go through like a little mock scoring with you for just one segment, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's all done. All right, and this scoring procedure really is the same for supervisor or for student. You're going to see the same thing. So to get to the scoring page, again, we go from our workflow page, the needs to be scored queue, and we click on the title of the preparation. And this takes us to our scoring page. This is what it looks like. I'm going to go over some of the different parts of it so you can know what it means. So up here, you'll see I'm pointing to these numbers that are right now in red and this little blue bar. This is sort of like a map of your entire video. This video is in 4 segments because it's about 4 minutes long. So each 60 seconds is its own segment. As you move through the video, this blue bar will move along with you. So it'll show you which segment you're actually working on. So I could click on segment 3 and you see that the bar moved over. When the numbers are red, it means that there's been nothing entered on that segment in our questions, which are over here. When they turn yellow, it means that you may have answered some of the questions, but not all of them, and you've saved your work at that point. When it's green, that means you've completed all the questions and you've saved all your work in that segment. I recommend, you know, when you move through this, use this save and continue to next segment to help you move through the video. If you're sort of in the middle of a thought or you think it's going to take a little while for you to finish your answer, couldn't hurt to just hit save every now and then. This finish button, you're only going to use that after the last segment, and that's going to basically finalize your score. So you're going to get one chance to go back if you decide you want to go back, but then you would be finalizing it when you click finish. Down here, you can see the video viewer, and for anyone that has ever watched YouTube or anything, this should be pretty familiar. Our control buttons, obviously that's the play button. This one will take you back 5 seconds in case you thought you missed something. This will take you back to a prior segment, and then forward 5 seconds and forward to the next segment. This button here, called full screen, let's say that you just want to watch this video in its entirety and you want to watch it large. Maybe you're looking for facial cues or body language, or it's just easier for you to watch the whole thing and then do your rating. You would click that, and I'll show what it looks like, and now we get a full screen of the video. It won't stop every minute, so you could just watch it all the way through, or you can just watch a part of it. And that little button down there takes you back to the normal view. Creating a clip. This is something I don't think we're going to go over today, but it's basically a feature that lets you save a segment of the video where you think something pretty significant has happened. That's a little bit more of an advanced thing. We can kind of go over that next time if there's another training. But for now, let's just try to score the video with the segments as they are. So that's this entire side of the screen. This side of the screen are your questions, your parameters. Notice that if I scroll over a question, I get a short description of what the parameter means. This is kind of condensed from your parameter how-to sheet. So I would refer to that if you want more detail. Scoring is as simple as choosing a selection. If you want to leave a comment about why you picked one choice over another, you would click this little, I call it the talk bubble, and you'll see that there's a box that pops up, and you can give some justification of your response. You can score a video while it plays or while it's paused, so I'll just very quickly go through what that might look like. So we'll hit play, and so the video is playing, and I notice, yes, there's a contribution there. Watching for other things. I think that was present. Maybe there was a missed opportunity here. And this is basically what it'll look like when you're scoring. You can always pause if you think you want to give more reflection. This bottom box here where it says leave a comment, this is optional, and it would relate to the entire segment as a whole. So does anyone have any questions at this point? Okay. So at this place, if you want to, we could just hit save, and you'll notice you'll get up in the top there. You won't see this pink bar on your screen, but you will have seen that green updated saved. It'll just let you know. And notice that my number turned yellow because I saved, but I didn't complete everything. So if I just complete my scoring and hit save, now my number turns green. So I know I've entered something for every question. And then if I click continue the next segment, I'm automatically taken to the next piece of the video, and I can watch and rate. And you just keep doing that until you get to the end. When you get to the end, I just want to show that to you really quickly. You would click finish, and it will ask you, are you sure you want to submit? You won't be able to change your scores. And at this point, you could cancel and go back, or you could click finish. That's totally up to you. I'm going to click finish because I want to show you where my video ends up. It ends up down here in this completed queue. All right, so it's been done. And supervisors, you'll do the same thing. Now, the special thing a supervisor can do is that you can actually go back in your completed queue and change scores. So for instance, if I'm the student and I go back in, I get a little no smoking symbol. I can't change anything. But if you're a supervisor, you will be able to change things. And you'll also be able to send something back to your student in case they accidentally clicked finish. If that happens, just let me know and I can show you through that. So at this point, I want to go through, let's pretend that I've scored it, my supervisor scored it, and I want to go through the comparison feature. Any questions before I start that?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with showing you, again, from the student's point of view. You're going to get an email that says your supervisor has finished scoring and it's ready, ready to compare scores. Now notice when I went back in to my old one, and there was nothing to compare to because my supervisor hadn't looked at this. Okay. I'm going to go back into the one that my supervisor did look at and notice the difference. So a number of things are different here. First of all, you got all these green and pink bars. What does that mean? Well, the note up here says that the students' responses will be crossed out if they don't match the supervisors. So every time you see a green bar, you know that you matched, scoring with your supervisor. If you see a difference here, then that means that you disagreed, and it shows what your supervisor had put in. So you can even see what the comments are that we had entered with the talk bubble, and this is the author of the comment. So here the supervisor saying, nice work, you really got involved. And here the students saying, I think this went well, etc. So you can actually watch both comments through this. And here the supervisor notices that maybe you started to fall asleep, and the students admit that they were really tired because they were up all night. So you almost can have a conversation back and forth this way. Up here, you might notice different sizes of gray bars in here. And if I scroll over, I get a little number. Well, that's the percentage of matching that you had per segment. So for instance, on segment 3, you matched perfectly with the supervisor. That was complete agreement. But in segment 4, hardly matched at all. So this is like a really quick way that you can go and zoom in on a particular place of the video where maybe there wasn't a whole lot of agreement about what was happening, and maybe have talk. Either one of these I think are good places to talk, where it was complete agreement and where there was maybe some disagreement. And this is your overall agreement. How many times did you rate something the same way? So are there any questions about that? Okay. Pauline, maybe you would like to chime in and say a few things about how this comparison screen might be useful in a supervision session.
Yeah, sure. I think it provides a nice opportunity for students and field instructors to check in about specific skills that the field instructor is encouraging the student to develop, or the student has taken responsibility for identifying for themselves, and be able to share how they think that is looking and be able to have a conversation, particularly where there's a difference in the perspective. It might be a nice learning opportunity. And I think we hope that supervisors will use strength-oriented language and constructive feedback about how to improve, which is why we included the missed opportunity section, to be able to say this is a place where you might have been able to make some progress with the person, but what would it have taken to do that? One other little comment I wanted to make is about the choice of the parameters that we made. Because it's the Integrated Care Project, we particularly wanted to have parameters that included a focus on interdisciplinary teamwork and interdisciplinary team care plans. And we were thinking that the skills that you might be using for this would be student participation in interdisciplinary meetings, not necessarily with individual clients. I am now thinking that perhaps some of you are wanting to use it with individual clients, in which case the skills that are, the parameters that are listed there will still be applicable, but they're going to look a little different. And I think our emphasis on the teamwork piece was to avoid the need for making that request of clients, and not all clients would be comfortable having a camera in the room, even if the camera is pointing at the student. So that's a kind of backdrop to why we chose these. As we become more familiar with this system, it would be possible to work with John to develop different parameters that are more applicable to the work that you're doing. But for now, we'll practice with these.
So, Pauline, sort of to clarify on that, it comes up pretty frequently in my individual interactions with clients where clients may ask me a question and I'll talk to them a little bit about maybe how to talk about something with their PCP or other team members that might be available to help them with that question. Would that be something that would be contributing to interdisciplinary teamwork, even though I'm not doing it with the team member at the time, but I'm sort of talking with the client about what I can do and what what they can do sort of situation.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great example because it really speaks to how you're thinking about their needs in a holistic way and specifically naming who could be helpful. Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Okay, thanks.
And I know I talked to at least one of you about, you know, the consent process and release forms, et cetera, for you know, individual kind of meetings. I've run that past the powers that be, and I haven't gotten an answer yet, and I do apologize, but I will keep on it and let you know as soon as I know something.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, that's basically the whole process that I wanted to kind of illustrate today. You'll know that I've indicated my email address at the bottom of the how-to sheet, so if you have problems, you can contact me. Pauline, did you have anything else to add, or did anyone have any questions?
Yeah, this is Lucrecia. So this is a great tool. I really like it. So we started a conversation in the last training, and have you found any news about using this in also in the clinical setting?
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. It was you that I had asked that question, and I have run it by the powers that be, and you know, it just seems like that there's a real lag in the bureaucracy here, but I'm going to be on top of it. My goal is to have some kind of answer for you next week.
I think that, you know, yeah, we can maybe show you a way that we think that we can do it, and I mean, I don't think you need to change any of the objectives of anything. We can just adapt to some of that. Is that okay?
Yeah, and there may be ways that we can see. Well, the thing that we're trying to avoid is any contact with PHI, which is protected health information, and that's really, it's a really hard thing to do when you're talking about health. You can't really avoid that. Although I think if you have the right,
because if you're in a team, in an interdisciplinary team, and you're talking about the needs of a client, you are disclosing protected information.
Well, if there's no way to trace that back to that client, I mean, that's why we indicated please don't use names if possible. You know, that whole.
Oh, I see.
You know, that we can't identify who you're talking about, then it's fine, especially that person isn't in the room. You know, if the person is off camera.
Would it be helpful for us if I prefer a video where I see the interaction between my student and the client, of course.
Of course.
But I wondered if, at least I was thinking about finding a way to put the video kind of on the side so that it sees more of the students, but a summary about the client. I mean, it's.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things there, and this is what I'm still trying to get advice about. One, would a release form, excuse me, would a release form be enough?
Yeah.
You know,
should I send you what we have, John?
Yes, please send me what you do have, and I've sent a revision of our form to the powers that be, and I'm waiting to hear from them. But if that release form is enough, then we don't have to worry about it. But another couple of other things that we've tried with this system is to just not put the client in the frame, avoid using first names, keep the frame on the student. I know that makes it less than ideal for observation, but that's another way that we can protect the client and quite honestly, you know, avoid any problems with HIPAA, et cetera. I may be being overly cautious here, but I feel as though it's better to err on that side than.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be next week sometime about it. But by this time next week, let's hope that we have an answer.
Sounds wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you. No, I appreciate it. I think this is this can be a very powerful tool as well. It's like an electronic mirror in a way, and we want to use it as fully as we can.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm sending you the form right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay.
Good questions. Is there anything else? Pauline, anything from you?
I don't have anything else to add. I'd just be interested to hear how it goes from both student and field instructor perspectives. So let us know. I know folks are very busy and don't want to necessarily schedule a check-in time that, you know, that we'd all say we're going to join. I know John's available for consultation and could do another training if you want either to go over things again or move on to a more advanced aspect. We could put on a training next term if we want to make any changes in the system. So let's keep that as an open idea, and we'll check in via email about how it's going and what other support that you all need to use it effectively. Does that sound like an okay way to go?
Yes.
That's fine with me, Pauline.
Yes, that's a great.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, and with that, I think I'll just wish you all a good weekend then. Feel free to be in touch with me if there's anything I can do to help.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, John. This is really, really enlightening. It's a very, very exciting system, and I hope it'll work well for all of you.
Thank you, you both.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Y'all have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.
Thanks.